I would like to welcome RCRP President and CEO Charles Hayes to give us a brief overview about what's happening in the region.
Thank you, Mandy, and again, welcome. A brief overview will be brief. I asked Debbie Taylor, my staff, I said, well, what did I say about that? And she couldn't remember, and so nobody else could either, so I figured it won't be memorable to anybody here today either. But I would like to introduce the members of our staff that are here today. Debbie Taylor. Debbie, if you'll stand up. Debbie's the one that's coordinated all of this with TBJ, with all of you. She's a business, Vice President of Business Development. And Leanne Nance. Leanne is our Chief Operating Officer. She's the brains behind the organization and does everything that you see that's good. And Bo Carson, Vice President of Business Development, also is here. And also, we're very fortunate today to have a chair of our organization, Gary Joyner. Gary, if you'll stand, and Gary, of course, those of you in the room know Gary. He hails from Rocky Mount, and so we're delighted to have this part of our team here. The challenges for the Research Triangle region are a global challenge. And the Research Triangle region, of which these counties are very much a part of, well, first of all, we asked economists to define our region. They call it a market area. And they said that the market area for our part of the world is basically a 65 to 70-minute commute to RDU. And of course, that includes all of this geography. And so what are the challenges? The challenges are, as I said, global. The biggest challenge that we have is forces that we have no control over, and that is the world is moving to urban areas. The world is flocking to urban areas. So we have to play in that, swim in that stream, and excel in that. And we also have to excel in part of going against the flow of that stream, because all of our region is not urban. And so how do we get meaningful growth, meaningful jobs, meaningful investment in those areas that are going against the flow? And we think we have a very good strategy. We know we have a very good team. And so we look forward to hearing more about what the team says specifically. But that's our overarching strategy. How do we win in this global economy that we live in? And I don't know if that's what you want or not. That's what you got. Thank you.
Next, if we could have Avi Jordan, Vice President of the Carolinas Gateway Partnership, representing Edgecombe County.
Good morning. Thank you. It's so great to see so many people out and really interested in economic development. Remember, I only have 4 minutes, but I'm a talker, so I'm going to try to go real fast. So if you need to follow up any questions with me, you can do that later. But first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about the Carolinas Gateway Partnership. The Carolinas Gateway Partnership was formed, and it was to increase the overall economic development of both Edgecombe and Nash County by working in a collaborative effort through the 2 counties. Remember, there are 2 counties, Edgecombe and Nash County, and we have 18 cities and towns and municipalities that provide opportunities to companies relocating or expanding in our area. Because of our large number of available sites, plentiful workforce, and excellent educational training facilities with our great community colleges, and I can't say enough things about all of our great community colleges. We have Edgecombe and Nash, but you also have Wilson and many others, Johnston in the area, and they are great partners with us in economic development. Why is the Carolinas Gateway, why was it organized? It was through the public-private partnership, and part of that was we had public monies and we also had private sector. We have somewhere around 78 private sector companies that provide private sector dollars to us that help us with recruitment and also expansion of all the industries within our area. We also are very strategically located with I-95, US 64, and we also have I-495 in the mix, and we have a great deal of opportunities. Challenges are opportunities for us. And I would tell you we have some great activities on the horizon, Many of them, as I tell my commissioners, and I also tell our executive committee, I can't tell you about it, and if I tell you about it, I probably have to shoot you. But that is very true. But I would also tell you that in today's world, our economic development opportunities, and I'm going to emphasize to you opportunities, they are huge opportunities for us in this rural area because of the land that we have available and the available workforce and the training. So my name is Oppie, and that stands for opportunities.
Thank you, Albie. Next up, we have Krista Eicher, representing Nash County, also from the Carolina State Partnership.
Thank you, Mandy, and good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk about Nash County for a couple of minutes. I won't go into the partnership structure. I don't think you want to hear Albie and I speak about the same thing 2 minutes apart. But I will tell you a little bit about Nash County. Nash County was built on textiles and tobacco like so many of our Eastern Carolina communities were. And they've re-diversified themselves. They had to change their way of thinking. We had to know what kind of economic future we were going to have. So with saying that, the Carolina Gateway Partnership about 3 years ago brought in a marketing coach. And that coach helped us sit down and realize what kind of target clusters we should identify and go after, what we should build on, and how we can help our own homegrown companies expand. With that being said, we found out that food processing is a great industry, fastest growing industry in Nash and Edgecombe counties, as well as transportation, distribution, and logistics, and the healthcare industry. We call healthcare not only hospitals, but like Pfizer, who's the biggest employer in Nash and Edgecombe counties. Our Pfizer clinic's been there since 1969. They currently, about 2 years or 3 years ago, announced a huge expansion, and they employ approximately 3,000 people, so it's very important to our area. So knowing that our challenges are the same as those across the globe, I recently heard Condoleezza Rice speak at a conference, and she was quite clear that things that affect Africa and China, Asia and India are the same opportunities or challenges that we have here. And as Oppie said, we look at a challenge and consider it an opportunity. One of our opportunities was to become part of the Regional Triangle Partnership. Our proximity to them made that opportunity very attractive, and we're very pleased with that partnership. We continue to look for ways, as Charles said, to make our more suburban and rural counties more profitable, or as profitable, maybe not as profitable. We hope as profitable as our urban areas. Some of the things that Rocky Mount and Nash County have going on, I think you may have heard about the Rocky Mount brew mill that's coming soon to our area, owned by Capital Broadcasting. It's an amazing thing because that is not only an opportunity for economic growth and the creation of jobs and new tax base, but that's a way to change our community. This is a residential as well as an industrial opportunity, and we're really looking forward to that. Nash County's had some great growth lately with some innovative businesses like Carolina Innovative Food Ingredients, who has a patent through NC State to do something very unique with sweet potatoes. And we're very proud that they call Nash County their first home. We recently recruited our first Italian company to have a U.S. plant. That is Nut Cow USA. They're a hazelnut spread maker, so if you've heard of the product Nutella, but you buy it at Walmart and their brand, it's made by Nut Cow and it's made right in Nash County. So these are just some of the opportunities that we're pleased with, and we look forward to the questions that you may have for us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Krista. Next, we have Jennifer Lance from Wilson Economic Development Council.
Good morning. Welcome to Wilson. We're so glad that you got up and early and came over and had breakfast with us. I'm going to talk about Wilson in a couple of ways. I'm going to talk about our organizations because we're a little unique from these other groups. We actually have 5 different organizations working on economic development, and it works really well for us. Because what we've done is we've gotten experts in these areas and put together boards that are geared to the areas. So for example, I do industrial, major warehouse distribution, major office projects. We have Kimberly Van Dyke, who does our downtown. Ryan Simons, who's the president of our chamber. Sandra Holmes, who is our tourism director, and Carol Bowen, who is in charge of Wilson on the Move, our private fundraising group. And each of these groups has a unique board that has expertise in the areas in which they're working, and the 5 of us collaborate all the time. So there's no duplication of the effort, but so we're working on all parts of the economy all the time. Wilson is kind of a study in contrast, and we have a lot of good things going on, but at the same time we have a lot of challenges. So you look at Wilson, it has one of the highest employments in manufacturing in the state. It has one of the highest average weekly wages in the state, but it also has one of the highest unemployments in the state, and poverty still here is very high. So when I look at Wilson and what we're trying to do, I think the biggest and most important aspect that this community has is patience. Instead of working on short-term goals, doing things to put a Band-Aid on something, this community works to a long-term goal to fix a problem. There are 3 really big challenges I see facing us over the next decade, and ones that we've got a lot of groups working on. First and foremost, we've got to cement the industrial base that we have here today to Wilson, which may mean in the future something that is not politically popular at all, helping the industries as they're reducing jobs, but automating so they'll be here for the long term. It's something no one ever wants to talk about, but the truth of the matter is that's where we are. If they aren't automating, they aren't going to be here. The second issue that I think is really critical for Wilson is educating our workforce, both the above 21 and the K through 12, for the jobs that are here and the jobs that are going to be here, 10, 20, 30 years down the road. And finally, I think it's all of the organizations that are involved in economic development, plus the city and the county, keeping a really focused eye on what's going to be coming, looking to the future, making good decisions, managing the cost of doing business in Wilson so that we're able to attract additional jobs. Thanks.
Thank you, Jennifer. Next, we have Chris Johnson, Director of Johnston County Economic Development.
Good morning, everyone. I can just basically stand up and say ditto to everything that they've said before, which would probably be a little bit easier. Obviously, we've had some tremendous success in Johnston County, and we're going to continue working on those. But some of the struggles, as I jokingly have said, all the promises that we've made in attracting some of these businesses, now we've got to hold those, we've got to make those things that we promised come true. And the biggest thing right now is probably infrastructure. Johnston County is very diverse, very unique in the sense that we've had a tremendous amount of growth in the western part of the county due to I-40 in the close proximity to the triangle. And with that comes struggles with building schools and building just simple infrastructure like water and sewer. A lot of the life science companies that we've attracted and that are growing in Johnston County are very unique in the sense that it's just who we're competing against, as Charles mentioned, at the global level, are large cities, cities that are probably in a better position to handle waste from a lot of these life science companies. So that's kind of Johnston County's struggle right now, is finding the dollars to solve these problems. The technology's there. We've got a great team locally in Johnston County as well as our municipalities, but the money of trying to build these super infrastructures of regional wastewater facilities is probably Johnston County's biggest challenge. So with that, I'll leave it at that.
Thank you hear us? Okay, very good. Well, I'll sit down, and I'm gonna move this a little bit so I can kind of see y'all face to face a little bit. And, starting out, we'll go ahead and put that question out there because it's out there. And Jennifer had brought it up a little bit, is the unemployment rates. We do have 4 counties in North Carolina that have double-digit unemployment as a council office. The 2 of them are represented in this room, Edgecombe County and Wilson County. I think in August, based on the data I've seen, it was at 10.3%. We've talked about it in our internal meetings and such, and we've talked about it, some of our stories that'll be coming out in Friday's paper. But bring us up to speed on what those real challenges are, and what those numbers really mean. Because we've got around 5% unemployment in the Triangle region, and y'all are considered part of our Triangle region now. What do those numbers mean in Edgecombe and Wilson counties right now at the 10.3%?
You want to go first?
You can go first.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, I knew this question, it always comes up. Been dealing with this question for about 18 years, but let me correct you, instead of double digit, we really are about 9.3, so that's a lot different than when I first came to Edgecombe County, and we reached as high as 13%. Once again, remember what I told you. Challenges or opportunities. High unemployment presents an awesome opportunity for you when a company is looking for 1,000 employees, or they're looking for 300, or they're looking for 400. Where are we going to get those employees? We have them in Edgecombe, and we have them in Nash, and we also have them in Wilson. And what we have to do is continue to work very closely with all of our educational institutions, all of our state legislators to provide the money to make sure that it continues to be available to those companies for their customized training programs, and also going back into our areas of working with the K through 12 and continuing to educate our young people to want to go to work and come back or stay home and to work in our areas and to make sure that there's opportunities for them. And I would give you case in point. QBC, when they first came, they were looking for 800 people. So we had a real great story to tell. And today, I'm working with some large manufacturing companies that are looking for 1,000 employees. That high unemployment figure is a positive for them because they want to know where we're getting the employees from.
Is it the right talent?
Yes, and I really think that was also very interesting is the talent pool that we have within our 2 communities is they can be trained, and companies from the companies that I've been working with have been very positive. K-beam, which is a Japanese company, they make the electronic control units for the Honda Civic and the Honda Accord. They have been great team players with us on the education side and really working with us to make sure that we train it was like training their own employees. That was a real positive for that company and also for PVC. And I think it is also very true going forward with some of the automotive manufacturers that we're talking about.
Yeah, I know we'll be talking about the automotive in a minute, a little bit. Jennifer, you want to talk about Wilson County?
Unemployment in Wilson County is another one of those contrasts. If you look at every job in Wilson County that is filled by a non-Wilson County resident, and you replace it with a Wilson County resident, you would actually have negative unemployment. So we have a large group of people driving into Wilson every day to go to work. We're a regional work center. However, that doesn't help those folks who are here and are unemployed today. So what we're doing is we are constantly working on bringing in jobs that basically provide a primary job, but also some secondary jobs, which are manufacturing jobs. And those jobs, the more technical jobs we bring in, for every technical job we bring in, 5 other jobs come. For a distribution center, for every job we bring in, 1 job comes. And for advanced manufacturing, for every job we bring in, 3 other jobs come. So we're staying very focused on manufacturing,
And our goal is to ultimately bring in about 5,000 more jobs, which should help us reach full employment, not only for Wilson County, but also for citizens in the region.
Is that gonna happen with one big announcement?
No.
Okay.
No, it's going to happen over a number of years with a number of announcements. We are not really out hunting the buffaloes like some economic developers and some areas are. But we are looking for industries that are hiring 25 to 100 initially and getting a number of those industries in that continue to diversify our economy.
Walk through a little bit the clusters, I guess, because I know that y'all mentioned Pfizer. I know that Wilson County also has a number of pharmaceutical manufacturing firms that all of y'all have been feeding on of. And Johnson County too, with a big announcement recently at $1.7 billion. All of these counties, I mean, this is a very strong cluster. What are we doing to, I guess, to more exploit that, to kind of get the secondary companies that they're working with, some of their suppliers, and talk us through about that sector of the industry.
Well, in Johnson County, we've already seen other announcements from our ancillary companies that are in the supply chain line for Gripples and Novos that they've already have announced the expansion, adding 25 to 30 jobs there. So the problem with Johnson County and is in regards to unemployment or employment is we're at around 6%, but we've got about 50,000 residents in Johnson County that leave Johnson County daily. If you turn on WRAL or any of the TV stations, the very first DOT cam that they show is, here's a live scene at the Clayton bypass, and there's bumper to bumper traffic. So every presentation I give, I wake up in the morning and I watch that, and it's a daily reminder for me to try to turn those cars around. So it's an opportunity there. And so obviously when you have Novo with the 700 jobs that are there, it's an opportunity to turn those cars around. But then also there's opportunities with our military installations that we have in our region. We've got 5 of them there, and as the military becomes downsized, just Novo, for example, 20% of their workforce has a military background. So there's an opportunity there to recruit high-skilled employees to come to these life science projects and opportunities. But another thing is, as far as, I'm going to go back to a challenge that Johnson County has, and I'm sure it's for everybody along the I-95 corridor, is natural gas. And we've got a tremendous opportunity coming up over the next 2 years with the natural gas line, the Atlantic Coast pipeline that's coming through. Johnson County is very fortunate. We do have natural gas in areas, but it's very limited along the I-95 corridor. During the mid-90s, we lost well over 45 to 5,000 jobs with the downsizing and relocation of textiles. We lost a lot of manufacturing, as well as the tobacco industry really changed dramatically. So Johnson County and everybody along the I-95 corridor took a tremendous hit during the mid-90s. And obviously, with the opportunity that we have with the natural gas line coming down, more and more companies are asking for natural gas in their RFIs, or request for information. And if you don't have natural gas, then you're immediately eliminated. And so without that opportunity, without that access to natural gas, it's just tremendous. So I may have gone with you now, but I wanted to say that.
That's good. Jennifer, did you want to talk along the lines of how you helped, because you've been with the organization since 1989, and it's
The dinosaur.
yeah. But you've seen a lot of things that, as the community has changed from textiles, tobaccos to advanced manufacturing, and that has taken time. We've talked about the patience that's needed. But are you seeing anybody becoming impatient, or are you still getting the support that you need to? Are you still seeing the activity from the business community to help support that?
I am very fortunate because this community has supported the Wilson Economic Development Council and my counterparts 100%. So we are very fortunate. We're also fortunate in that we have the most advanced infrastructure in this area by having a gigabyte of fiber that we've had since 2008.
Talk a little bit more about that one, because not everybody in the room is as familiar with it.
with Greenlight, we have a gigabyte of fiber, and it allows a lot of companies to do a lot of things here. Their jobs could have moved elsewhere, or jobs never could have come here. BB&T, who is one of our largest employers, uses it extensively. We have some small companies who use it in the movie industry. If you saw The Black Swan, the special effects were done in Wilson, which is something that most people don't know. So Greenlight has helped us tremendously. Happy Water has helped us with the life science industry. But this community is patient, and our organizations work together to talk to the public, to solicit public input on what we're doing in mind, and then we do get the support. It's helped us actually grow industrial jobs through the Great Recession. When everyone else was suffering, we were able to give a return on investment back to the city and the county every single year through the Great Recession. And our industrial employment today is larger than it was in 1989 when I came here. So it's that patience that has let everyone see the big picture and then support the big picture over the long term.